Evening, Steve.
How are you?
I am grand, thank you. Unfortunately, missing the sunshine after a rainy, wet, miserable day that it was today.
Yeah, it's been a funny one for sure. Um, while you and I are chatting, the members will be getting their alerts and joining. Okay, so it takes a wee while for them to get the alerts, click, join. So while they're doing that, you and I will just have a quick catch up. So, how's your day gone so far?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I've been developing the program for tomorrow's session, which we can talk about later. And then I had a client later on this evening. So yeah, I've had quite a hectic, well, not hectic, quite a nice day. Just bounced along at a nice pace.
And tomorrow's your regular weekly meeting, is that correct?
Yes, we do a Friday forum every Friday for an hour, and we have a different topic every week that just is for learning and growth. And tomorrow's session is on tuning into your superpower. So it's about the brain and how the brain works, and the compartmentalization of how we actually are now using our, won't go into too much detail, but using our cortex rather than our gut, our intuition, and our limbic brain, which is our first brain. So that's tomorrow. So it's all about learning about how you can really be your full self and use a whole brain to to be empowered, and to have lots of positivity and self belief.
Yeah. And they reckon we use how much of our brain do they reckon? Is it 5, ten
Oh,
percent or something?
yeah, tiny. I think it's less than that. I think it's about eight. Well, it's not a lot. It's between eight. I think it's between 5 and 8%. So not a lot. There's a
Yeah.
huge component of our unknown, and it's we're learning all the time. And the interesting, I suppose, the most interesting thing I find is the whole aspect of neural plasticity, which is that although we believe we are a certain way and we think in a certain way, we are quite capable of changing that thought patterning and that programming by readdressing how our neurons connect and what neurons we're using. So that's what tomorrow's about. It's about this neural plasticity and about reprogramming ourself and our self beliefs.
Okay. And we'll come back to that because we want to talk about your sort of monthly membership and how that works. So, okay. So that's the members joining us now. Wendy and more will join. And anybody who can't make the live stream can watch the recording. So that will roll out over the next few days and more people will be able to watch that. So that's a sort of permanent reminder there for them of this session. So we'll capture this and they can watch it any time. Okay. So the Wisdom Witches, what a lovely name for a business. Tell me, how did you get together and what made you choose the name?
So the wisdom, which is how where to start. At the very beginning, before COVID, actually, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I was speaking at an event and I bumped into some other coaches that were at this event, all of whom were working by themselves. And we sort of got together and said, might be quite nice to have a, a monthly meetup where we just cross fertilize ideas and we get to know each other and what we're doing and how what we're offering to different clients. And that was the initiation of what is now the Wisdom Witches. Our first meeting for that getting together of four different coaches was going to be in Stirling in a real setting, and we ended up going into lockdown. And as a result of that, we had an online meeting. And on that online meeting, the four of us sort of said, well, we've all got different ways of looking at different things that may be posing people issues or problems or difficulties. Maybe we could have an online platform where people come in and just meet and ask us questions, and we help in whatever way we can. And that was the first sort of initiation of what then went on to be the Wisdom Witches. I've had two or three reincarnations or of what the Wisdom Witches was all about. The name came to be like everything in my life. It sort of flies in from somewhere. It wasn't really very thought through. We were thinking of a name for what we did, and I suddenly said, "Well, we're sort of offering a place where we've got four people's different ideas of thoughts and wisdom, and we're sort of thinking outside the box a little bit. So we're not necessarily just following the trend of what everybody else does, but we're looking to help, to heal, to offer well-being in a way which is different." And I suddenly thought, so I suppose that's what witches did. In days gone by, they were healers who thought outside the box. And that's where the Wisdom Witches name came about. So it's about us as people who offer ideas of healing, of health, of well-being, in a slightly different approach, bringing different mindsets together to offer people different thoughts and different ideas of wisdom. And that's the Wisdom Witches. So that's its first incarnation, and it was with 3 different coaches. One was a rapid transformation hypnotherapist, an RTT, rapid transformation therapist. One was a psychotherapist, and the other one was a what did she call herself? A compassionate coach. It's about self-compassion. And over the period of COVID, that sort of changed into where it is now, in that the first 3 coaches that came together with me moved on to something different for various reasons, to do with COVID, actually. And the second incarnation, I brought on 2 new Wisdom Witches, and we continued on the same bias. But I think the journey sort of was taken along by those that became part of the group, by those that joined us as members, by those that actually became integral within what we were offering and the space that we created. So I've talked quite a lot.
Yeah, well, that's good.
As per you.
And what's your particular area of expertise then, Wendy? What wisdom do you bring to the table?
So I call myself a humanologist. I work with the mind-body connection. So my background was very many years ago, I trained as a physiotherapist. And I realized that many people who were getting musculoskeletal disorders that were insidious, it was more related to the mind and the way they thought about the external environment and how they held tension in their bodies. And so I went on and did a number of different trainings on the back of being a manual therapist, including coaching, NLP, participatory facilitation, co-creational learning, many different aspects of training. And I work very much in the dialogue that we offer ourselves and how that projects out to others, and how we can change that internal dialogue to benefit ourselves, our health, and how that radiates towards those that we're involved with and communicating with. So it's very much mind-body connection that I work in. And I have an absolute passion for people, and for acting like for being able to act like a catalyst for people to see how they can find harmony and inner well-being in themselves to really be the best version of who they are.
Okay, excellent stuff. Now, I'm going to say to the viewers of the live stream, obviously they can ask questions in the chat box. So if they do have any questions as we go through this, we'll be able to field these questions. Hopefully, we might not be able to answer them all, but if there are any questions about the business model and how it can help people, then hopefully they can step forward. Now, you've got an excellent website. I'm just going to put it up on the screen just now so that we can have a quick look at that. Okay, so you've got a nice homepage there, and then instantly we have some testimonials that are playing, so people can watch this video on the homepage. Now, this is real life members who take part in your, is it weekly or monthly sessions?
It's weekly. It's called the Friday Forum, and it's weekly, for an hour.
Okay. And we're going to talk about that, and that's a sort of membership, but it's very, very low cost membership for what they get. So they're part of a little exclusive club, and they can tap into the wisdom of the witches and the energy of the group as well. So there's a little camaraderie piece happening there, which is very good. So that's a worthwhile video to watch if anybody wants to visit the wisdomwitches.com, isn't it? It's .com?
That's right. Yeah, www.thewisdomwitches.com. Yep.
Wisdomwitches.com. Okay, so as we go down, we see that you've got your next Friday meeting. The next one.
That's not been updated. Apologies for that, because the lassie that actually updates it is away just now. So the next one's tomorrow.
Next one's tomorrow, right? Okay, that's fine. Well, that happens. Okay, and then what you have is your retreats as well. So there's 2 main strings to your bow, and how you communicate this wealth of wisdom that you guys have got. You're meeting weekly online with members who can join this Friday forum. Okay, what time's that on every Friday?
It's 11:30 till 12:30.
Okay, and they step into that via Zoom, so they can see everybody. I think that's it there, so you can see all the people there in the Zoom session, and they're all sitting having fun, and they can ask any questions. They can get to know the group. You know, it's all women sharing their thoughts and with a focus on one subject per week. Is that right?
That's correct. We do a different subject every week. Like last week was on Nourish by Nature. It was all about fermentation and gut biome. So the having a healthy gut and how that affects your general health and your brain. And this week we are talking about, as I said, the superpower, tuning into your superpower. So it's very much about self-belief and positivity.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and can everybody hear us both okay? Just going to do a quick sound check, make sure. I think somebody said they had a wee bit of trouble hearing you there, Wendy, but I'm sure it's okay because I can hear you fine. So
Okay.
might be to do with the and the next sort of string to your bow are these retreats. Now, these retreats happen often.
Well, they happen every quarter, but over the time we had COVID, we decided that we would try and run some online retreats, and we ran 2 online retreats during the period through lockdown. They were a day, and they were remarkable. All I can say is I was amazed by the ability that people had to switch off with what we offered via a computer, although they weren't sitting at the computer the whole time, because a lot of the exercises and the meditation and the sound work we did with them on that online day, they were in the comfort of their own home, and they were making their own space, a space where they could completely relax. So that was during COVID. And then when we came out of lockdown, we had our first real retreat, actual retreat, which was in August. And once again, I was just so blessed to be in an environment that was created not just by us, but by those that came on it. And it was a remarkable weekend that connected in so many levels. And we had everything from, ironically, you would imagine a retreat to be very, very calm and relaxed. And throughout the weekend, there were many times when it was calm and relaxed. But I think because this was one of the first times people had actually got out and met other people in person and been able to be physical and give people hugs and actually feel connected in a physical way, there was probably a little bit more elation and high energy than you would assume you would have in most retreats. The times where you then went into your calm and your reflective time was during the periods that we were offering our meditation or our yin yoga or our sound healing. But it was a lovely, lovely connected weekend. I can't I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And fortunately, everybody that was there was in the same boat. It was just a wonderful weekend. Hence the reason we're running another one, because we were asked if we would do another one towards autumn time. So the next one being a week this weekend.
A week this weekend, and this is a bit of information. Now, this is the actual premises here, isn't it? This is a location and
right.
calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Now
right.
that looks amazing. Now I'm going to play a little video clip, which is a little clip of people who have attended the events and what they thought of it. So I'm going to play this for the benefit of everybody.
We were asked to choose a word that we wanted from the weekend at the beginning, and the word I chose was connection, and wow, did it not just fulfill my expectations but totally surpass them.
All like-minded and completely connected.
It was just a powerful feeling of connection and fun and learning, and a wonderful blend.
Particular highlight for me was the drumming.
We also were in Lochvenniker at calendar before 7 o'clock in the morning, which was exhilarating.
And sound baths and music medicine and energy medicine. Even yoga, which I had never done before, but really enjoyed, and it was excellent teaching.
For the yin yoga in particular, and the yoga nidra was just, it was lovely.
Food was amazing, very nutritious.
The food, the stunning location. I think for me one of the real highlights was the beautiful song that we sung when we were all in the water.
I went with no expectations, and I was blown away with the feel-good factor that we all seem to share this weekend.
My soul and spirit were full and happy leaving there.
For me, it made it quite a transformational experience, and one to be remembered and cherished.
And I am desperate to go back.
It was just really magical time.
I would recommend anyone who is considering it to absolutely go for it.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, I'm a guy, as you know. I could do with one of those little retreats. That sounds really good. Listen, it's a great thing. I mean, everybody, a bit of me time, isn't it, really? I mean, it's a bit of me time. That's what's missing for a lot of people. Now, obviously, a lot of people, when we put this up, Wendy, and there's the the purposes of this is kind of threefold. Why we're chatting? I'll flip back to us again, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the purposes of us chatting on this is kind of threefold. One, you're a wonderful new business on the Awaken Pages directory. So your page launches tomorrow, and there's a video of you and I chatting on the page, which you've seen that video now. Have you had a chance to look at that?
Yes, briefly. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's you and I chatting about your upcoming regular events and how all of that works. And again, we're going to do a little transition of this tonight's meeting about events and how all of that works for you. But the retreats, I believe, are one of your. It's a really, really strong, powerful service that you're offering there. Do you feel that so once every 3 months?
Yes, well, the next one will be in the spring, probably around March time.
And is that just because of the weather?
Well, it just difference. I think depending on how people feel, we would run them more regularly. But I don't want to, I don't want to get to a stage where people are thinking, oh gosh, another retreat, another retreat. From my perspective, watching that video, I just feel so heartfelt about it because it just fills me with a big warm glow because it was just such a lovely space, and I would love more people to be able to feel what we felt when we were there. It was very special.
Yeah.
And if I could spread the word and do them all the time for people to get that feel good feeling, I would. But I don't want to get into a place where people are thinking, oh gosh, another retreat. So at the moment, I think one every quarter or so is in keeping with where people are unless suddenly we get a bigger and bigger audience. We did have somebody come up from England for the last one, actually an Australian girl who had just come over from Australia, and she was drawn to it, and or felt she had been called to it, or had been, for some reason, it had come up in her radar. And I'm a great believer in, what's right for you doesn't go past you. It feels right at a gut level, and you feel
Yeah.
you want to be there. And therefore, different times of the year, people will feel that calling. And I wouldn't say it's weather related, because come October, we will still be going into to do our cold water dipping, but it will be probably different to what it is in the summer, because it will be a more of a short term plunge, rather than a 10-minute swim
Once
or
you're in,
something.
once you're in, you might want to stay a bit longer.
Who
Listen,
knows?
that
It might
kind of thing.
be dark.
Well, what's for you won't go by you, and to a certain extent, I mean, having dealt with the lovely souls and awakened pages, I'm beginning to see more and more of these sort of, there are no coincidences and things. And I've tried to reach out and say, well, look, we have a new business here. We have an upcoming retreat. There are still some spaces on it. Now, you've got it to a level where you've got enough people there, but the extra people, sometimes the full house, if you like, you've got everybody
Yeah.
there. It just makes for that sort of, it's like a full bar or a full party. The energy in the room can always be improved with the more people and everybody brings. So I've sort of reached out and said, well, look, is there anybody in the group who might be available next weekend, who might be interested in something like this? And tonight is a chance to chat about this, maybe for the benefit of somebody who might be able to make next weekend, but if not, somebody who can diary it for the next upcoming retreat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, it's not about just us, the wisdom which has been there. It's about those that come, and the energy that brings, for everybody else, because it's very much a unified circle. It's like an empowerment. We work, the wisdom witches works in circles, empowered circles, for helping, or for really bringing the best out in women. Although we have had a few wizards on our Friday forum, and I would never say it's just gender specific for women. It tends to be that, on a retreat environment, or in a retreat environment, it is more comfortable if it's for women. But Steve, that's not to say in the future that we will not have it for everybody.
I
It's
could
just the way it's
I could be
manifested.
that wizard. I could be that wizard. Now, I'm going to put this question up. Now, this is a lovely Joy. So every so often, and again, they say this, the Scottish are the stingiest race in the world. Straight down to what's the cost, Wendy? Now,
What's it going to cost? What's it going to cost me? Yeah.
that's quite right. It's a good question. Now, just with regards to, if the stars are aligning and it being the right thing for people to do. This is in Callander in Scotland. It's not that hard to get to. It is a beautiful location. It's a beautiful premises that the house, or the what do you call it? It's like a big,
The tree house. It's called the tree house.
yeah, absolutely lovely. It's got an amazing energy to the place. Now, people from the north of England, middle England, they can get there because it starts on a Friday night at 4, and your accommodation
Yeah,
and your food's all there. So all you have to do is drive there and drive home.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So people could drive for 3 or 4 hours, and they have a lot to think about on the way, and a lot to think about on the way back, I'm sure. So again, we get down to, right, it's accessible to lots of people, and we want people watching this. There's Joyce saying, I'm not stingy. They're just a bit cash strapped at present, which is quite right as well. So yep, we get that, Joy. We get that. It's like
Can
that.
I interrupt and say that from our perspective, it's not about money, and that we have done our best to accommodate those who are in a situation of financial pressure. We have a few members who are saying, I'm struggling, so we've broken it up, and we've said, you don't have to pay it all up front. You can pay it as and when it's appropriate for you, because it's more about having the right people there than
Yeah.
the side of things. But in saying that, I will tell you the money, Joy. We have a membership which is £10 a month, and that includes the Friday forums. So you have 4 coaching sessions, On top of that, you have a one-to-one session with one of the wisdom witches. You get access to online yoga at a reduced cost, and you get access or invited into the private Facebook group where we post different meditations, etc. The weekend retreats for members are £240 for the weekend, which is fully residential and fully catered with vegan and vegetarian food. This time, actually, we have got somebody who's got a specific diet, so we'll be catering for that as well. The normal price, if it's on an early bird, which is a month before each retreat, it's £280. And for now, it is £305. But I did say to Steve that if there was anybody from Awakened who wanted to come, I would be happy to offer some form of reduction or gift as a member of the Awakened group. So just to contact me, and we can have this. But it's not about the money, Joy. It's much more about ensuring that if this is something for you, that we can accommodate that for you in a way that's going to be financially viable.
And there is a cost to it, obviously, because you've got food to cater for. But again, it's, you know, full board and lodgings, all your food's paid for. So it's because, you know, you're getting quite a lot, and then you've got the expertise of the three wisdom witches who are there. Or there's a four? No, there's three going this one.
There's three wisdom witches, but we have two additional facilitators. We have a sound healer that comes, and we have Louise, who is the yoga practitioner. So there's 5 facilitators, although in this one we're having 4 because one of the wisdom witches is actually going to Madeira for 3 months. So we've got 4 facilitators. An energy medicine practitioner. Well, you can, when you show the website with us, I can take you through each of us and what the others do if you want, Steve. But
yeah, we can have a look at that for sure. Yep, absolutely. So we've got the 3 of you there. So Wendy, Hazel, and Kelly.
Yes. So Hazel is what she calls a health architect. Originally, she was actually an architect, and through her own mental health issues, she decided that she needed to take a different path in life, and she trained with Donna Eden in energy medicine. And she is now an energy medicine practitioner, along with many other attributes, but that's her mainstay. And in the retreat, she runs energy medicine. She calls it an energy vitamin shop, where we do an energy routine. And on the Sunday, she actually does energy testing for food. So you get an idea of how your body reacts to different food sources based on your energy. And then myself, I've already given you some information on. And Kelly, who's an American, is a psychotherapist. So she's worked through many different walks of life, including NLP, like myself, and many other different attributes and strings to her bow. And for further information on any of us, there is a little bit of blurb on the website that you'll see a little bit more about each of us. And we have a 4th wisdom witch now, and that's Louise. And Louise is a yoga practitioner, and she also is a trainee shaman, and also does astrology moon work. So she does the energy in relation to the moon, and how the draw of the moon affects us, and how we can use different sources in the universe to help us. So all different strings to our bow, really. And coming together when we're on the Friday forum or at the retreat, we have an abundance, I would say, of our own learnings of what we can help and impart to those that join us either on a Friday or on the retreats.
Yeah. Now the thing about this is, I think there's a big market within the demographic of the group that we've got. I mean, I deal with the members every day. I deal with the business owners every day. There's about 13,000 people in our group. They're spread throughout the UK and the world. We've got members, but we're 95% UK based. We're actually 70%, something like 70% female in our group for some reason, whatever, don't know why.
I could hazard a guess, but go down that avenue.
Yeah, the women are the warriors at this point. It seems to be that I think that's the same in every group. I'd say that every group is probably dominated by female warriors at this point. And that's probably about right. You know, there's many reasons for that. But you want these, you want the people to be in fighting shape and as good as they can be. And I think after such a terrible 18, 20 months now and no sign of it abating, this kind of me time, this kind of camaraderie, be it the membership, which is £10 a month, is that right? For the £10 a month membership, and you've got access to weekly meetings, you know, a specialist group, you can tap into the knowledge, you know, weekly forum updates. That's really good value for money, Wendy. That's exceptional value for money. The retreat, there's a lot of people in our group who would have that money. They would have no problems at all spending that, and other people who would be delighted that there is some flexibility and that, you know, and again, there's a lot of trust there. So I don't think anybody would ever let you down, you know. So if somebody, you know, came along and said, you know, a bit of now and a bit of later or whatever, and that's a deal they strike with you, and your word is your bond type thing, amazing. I mean, it's only people like yourself and groups like us that would actually make that happen in business these days, where a handshake's as good as money in the bank in many ways. And I think that's really important. It's a sign of the quality of the business that you guys are running there, and the fact that you are prepared to do that, because most businesses wouldn't entertain that at all. So that's really important. I'm personally hoping that there are members of our group who would be needing something like this, and that this fills a little gap for them, and that they've got the time and the stars align, and that they're, you know, they can make it to calendar next weekend. But if not, there's a lot of interest in the chat room there. They're saying they can't maybe make this one, but definitely the next one. And it's all about, you know, maybe the next one being full well in advance as well. Gives you the chance to say, well, let's run 2, let's run 3, let's run them bi-monthly, whatever, you know. So if there's a demand and more people want it and they want to come back for more as well, then absolutely fine. Now, Wendy, we don't like to keep things too long on these business spotlights. We aim for 30 minutes and we're just ticking over that now. So what I'd like you to maybe sort of wrap up with is any final messages that you'd like to get across to the viewers and the people who watch the recording, in terms of the service and, you know, being part of the Wisdom Witches.
Okay, well, what I would offer you is just to reflect on, to take the thing we don't do in life is take enough time to reflect on self, to take time to step back and to be rather than do. And what the Wisdom Witches is all about is that place of being. It's that place of finding center and reflecting internally rather than being driven by all the external noise. And I think at the moment, the external noise is extremely loud. And that can take us down a path that can really put us in a place which makes us unwell, which makes us potentially go into a health place which is not going to serve you in the long term. So the Wisdom Witches is about coming out from the external noise, learning to tune into self, reflecting, growing, and being. And whether it be on the Friday Forum or at one of our retreats, what we want to do is allow you to be your brightest self and to radiate that to everybody else that you come into contact with, so that when you walk into a room, you're the person that people want to go towards. They want to move towards you. They want to be in your space. They want to be part of your tribe. And I invite you and everybody from the Awaken group to be part of our tribe.
Excellent stuff. Well, listen, how do people get in contact with you? Because if there's people watching this or watching the video over the next couple of days, how do they get in touch, and what's the best way to reach out to you?
You can go on to our website and drop us an email via the website, info@thewisdomwitches.com, or you can contact me direct. I can give you my personal email. No, well, I think the easiest way is just to contact me via the website. You can also subscribe to the Wisdom Witches without becoming a member. So if you subscribe to the website, you'll be in the loop of getting all the information that we offer to anybody that's part of the subscription of the website. So you don't necessarily need to join as a member. You can just subscribe, and then you'll be in the loop for all our emails, for all our information about the retreat. But you can always send an email personally as well if you want to question me about anything specifically. And Steve, I don't know whether or not it's worth putting my telephone number on the chat box, and people can call me if they want to. Or
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat box after the event and say that here's a number here that they can give you a call on, and they can, touch base
that's
with
fine.
you. It's a very personal service in that respect, and they might have different questions that they didn't want to ask in the chat room, of course.
Indeed. Are there any other questions in the chat box?
Any other questions from anybody? There's a few ones there that we can look over after the event as well. But yeah, some interesting questions there. There's definitely interested parties there, and again, I'm just hoping that if it's right for some of our members, that they get along. And I'd love to hear how they go on. I'm sure it would be perfect. I'm sure everybody would want to come along if they could. It sounds amazing,
Yeah.
But we can't all do everything that we want to do. And the funny thing is, dealing with Awakened Pages, I'm dealing with business owners every single day. I would buy one of everything. I really am. My wife is going to definitely divorce me if I keep wanting to spend all our money. And so there's somebody saying, I want to go, we'll message you. So there's somebody who's very keen. So that could be somebody, life-changing event, and a little customer there for you as well, a new member of the tribe, and that would be amazing. So and that's really what we're hoping to do, that within our group there are people who can help. Let's get the information out there. This is a wonderful course. That video, as you say, that's a very heartfelt video. That's heartwarming.
Yeah, well,
it really was, and I know that would have touched a lot of people, and will touch a lot of people who watch it, and they're going to want a slice of that action. I think that the pricing of it is very, very good, considering it's, you've got lovely accommodation. It's like a wee holiday. I mean, it's like, I'd imagine that, the fun that you would have, and the chats, and I'd imagine you have a wee sip of wine or something, or do you just keep it teetotal?
Well, it's entirely up to individuals. We don't have wine, but we don't say you can't either.
Right.
So, it's personal choice. We don't like things to be too rigid.
Yeah.
It's for people to feel what's right for them.
Okay. Well, listen, it's a wonderful thing you're doing. I love that video. I love the name of your business, and it's such a pleasure to have met with you over the last few days. I'm very happy to be able to promote this out to the good members of our group, because I know that if they come along, they'll bring a special kind of energy there that you guys would be extremely happy to have around. That there's some really good people in our group as well. So I'm sure that the ones that come along will become regular members, and I think they'll bring something to the party for sure. Okay, but listen, absolute pleasure. Thank you to everybody who watched tonight and who watched the recording. It's been an absolute pleasure, Wendy. You're a star.
Thanks, Steve. Many, many thanks for the opportunity to impart what we're doing. So thank you very much. It's greatly appreciated.
No bother at all. My absolute pleasure. Okay, all the best.